many people miscalculate how long it takes to have a real successful business. All right. Welcome everybody to Success After Dark podcast. My name is Rakan K and got my co-host up in here. My brother Armin and my brother Vlad.
What's going on, guys?
We're excited for this podcast and it's going to be an interesting podcast. You know, we kicked it off in an interesting way.
Just in case you guys are wondering, this is the first take, okay?
No, it's not. No, it's not. So, just so you guys are aware, this is not our first take. This is our second take. Vlad, you want to talk about our first take?
Our first take was interesting. We try to make it look like it's our first take. I told these guys to wear the same clothes, and I came dressed up. So when you see us post our Instagram picture, you'll see I'm wearing a different outfit. I didn't get the dress code, but anyways,
Vlad, the mic.
First time around, we're recording, right? And we're in the rhythm. We had some rhythm going.
That was
going
good.
on.
Yeah.
And we're at like 17 minutes, right? A little past halfway, and Rakan notices at the bottom of his eye, the red light is off.
I see Rakan bending down.
He looks at us, he's like, guys. And I was deep. I was talking about my father.
Yeah, bro. You were like, that was emotional. Yeah.
I was going in. Rakan's like, fuck. And I'm like, what? He's like, bro, it's not recording.
Oh my god.
And so, long story short, me and our director, we go head out for batteries for our recording equipment, right? We go to the gas station. It's the gas station and the batteries. We go to Walmart Supercenter. We got batteries. We come back in, right? Rakan and Armin are outside the studio. And they're like, what's taking you guys so long? The audacity.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, we had, some complications. We come in and Rakan looks at me and goes, there's a slight issue. What's the problem? We walk up to the studio, to the door. We're locked out. All our phones are inside.
Yeah.
So only two people know the pin to get into the studio, the landlord and Rakan. And what our solution was, I had to go. Armin goes, Vlad, you go on Instagram, go to my following, you find the landlord.
Find the landlord.
And we start Instagram video calling 11 p.m. at nights after dark, all right?
That's crazy.
And I gave him 5 rings. We're like, okay, we got to get in. Everything's in there. We got to finish this out. So anyways, I'm going to run the clip. So we were filming episode number 1 for our podcast. So our creative director,
That's Ped.
we decided, we're going to make a human ladder. We find some shelf. We found Rakan Khalifa,
Pet, it's not high.
the middleman.
Can you guys pay attention? The only one not laughing is Ped.
Yes. Yes.
We're trying to convince him this is not high,
Yeah.
but this is literally like 20 feet in the air.
Hang and jump, bro.
Vlad's like hang.
If you hang,
first.
you're gonna save yourself 5.5 feet. If you play GTA, you'll know that you can't.
Have you played GTA?
You can't die from that height in GTA, man. Half health.
Yeah. How did I?
So watch.
Did you jump?
Boom. Landed. And guys, you have to understand the moment that Ped lands, I'm talking the second that his feet touch the floor. What happens?
At the exact second.
The exact second my phone starts buzzing. Our boy calls us. He's like, yeah, here's the pin. I'm like, thank you, brother.
And it's a long ceiling. Shout out to my brother Pedro, man.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was a long ceiling.
I don't think any of us would done that.
No, definitely not. No. Definitely not. But I think this is just an example of what's going to happen here. A real success after dark. So let's tackle a couple of things. Number one, let's re-talk about why we needed success after dark. And I wanna hear y'all's stories since you guys give me the co-host of this podcast, and we wanna talk to our people and make sure that they know what we're talking about. So let's kick off. Well, first of all, who came up with the name?
I want 20% in the whole
Vlad,
company.
what do you think of this?
For the name, I take the full credit. The full credit.
20% is not full credit, brother.
I feel like we've heard the name and you stole it from somebody.
Impossible. I challenge any one of you guys, go search Success After Dark. If you come up with anything, I give you guys.
I think Ped deserves it now.
I
for
think
that.
I
He
think
went
the
through
20%.
Ped went through the dark.
Ped,
He
someone
definitely
give
went to the dark.
Ped needs a raise. Anyone's
Yeah.
watching this,
Absolutely.
tell Ped's boss he needs a raise
Who's Ped's boss?
somewhere. But the mics were my idea. The gold, you see that in the background.
Yeah,
I'll take
that's
that.
nice.
I'll take that 20.
And the headphones was Rakan's idea.
It's definitely not my idea.
Okay, let us know if it looks good. Because Rakan's like, it looks nice.
It looks nice. It looks dope.
Yeah.
But
All right, success after dark.
success after dark.
So I think we can all agree that some of the worst things that happened to us were some of the best things that happened to us
Absolutely.
in our lives.
Absolutely.
Success after dark is a metaphor for reaching, some sort of success, progressing towards, a goal or a worthy ideal after dark times, after failure, after years, weeks, months, whatever the case is of hardships, of sacrifice, controversy, whether personal relationships, family, physical, mental, and coming out on top. And I think we're just getting started.
Yeah, I agree.
I know, my brothers Rakan and Armin. I'm gonna edify them heavy throughout the show. But these guys have achieved some massive things for young men in their 20s. Both in the online marketing space, trading, investing. They've helped thousands of people around the world create, incomes online in the 21st century, which is so crucial. We're going to talk about that, and I'll let Armin give us his take on what the name means to him. Shout out Rakan though for the name idea. It was amazing.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate that.
Yeah. In case you guys didn't know, Vlad came up. Vlad is usually the guy that we go. So we find the technical stuff. Rakan comes up with the business plan, and Vlad comes up with the descriptions, how to write stuff, how to market stuff, and so on.
Yeah.
So,
I'm the least immigrant here. That's what they make me do.
So Rakan tells Vlad, think about a name. Vlad goes on Google, does his research. 1 week later, he comes up with 24 names, like different names, right? And then I just said, I'm like, success after dark. At first, both of you guys were like, let's add it, just in case.
It was an option.
Yeah,
but it wasn't the end all be all.
It didn't click right away.
It didn't
Usually
click
when
right
Rakan
away.
hears something,
Yeah.
he clicks and he's
Yeah,
like,
he
I
did.
like it. It was it was okay. We put it on
Yeah.
the list and it was.
And then why did you choose this name? We didn't actually talk about it.
I just chose this, man. I think is the best out of.
He felt bad for you, Armin.
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, for sure.
The reason I think you chose this because you understood the meaning behind it and you went through it too. That's why you went through
Yeah,
the.
100%.
I agree.
Dark
Okay, so
side.
what does success after dark mean to you?
To me, as I personally came to Canada in the age of 15, right? I
Yeah.
went through a lot of darkness
Yeah.
to come up to the success, to
Awesome.
where we are at right now today, where I'm at right now today.
Yeah.
So there was a dark side that I passed mentally, physically, financially, everything, and I just think that it's the light now, and yeah, success after dark.
Just look at his eyebrow. We'll show the picture on you guys will see the picture. This guy has crazy glue in his eyebrow right now.
I don't know if you want to show no pictures.
No,
man.
no, no.
This
Gotta ruin-
We don't
ruin
wanna
my
this guy
podcast.
he's serious. I'll tell you, Armin is serious. He's been through a lot, and he's
Yeah.
the epitome of success after dark.
Absolutely, I agree.
100%.
Rakan, what does success after dark mean to you?
I feel like we have similar kind of meetings to the podcast. One of them being really success after dark. I believe many people don't understand what it takes to be successful. It's the complete truth. Many people miscalculate how long it takes to have a real successful business. A business that's not occasional. Because I know a lot of businesses that are successful for 3 months, 4 months out of the year. Well, I want a business that runs all year, every day, 24/7. That generates me a real income. So and a lot of people that will be on the podcast are people that have gone through hardships to get to where they are. And I truly believe one of the most, or one of the main reasons that I stayed in business is I kept hearing stories about successful people that they were successful after dark.
That's crazy.
So we're going to have a lot of these people on this podcast,
100%.
interviewing them. We want to talk to the best of the best. And I kid you guys not. I remember one day I was, I was driving to my job, and you know, I had this old 2007 Lexus car.
Lexus.
Like this Lexus, you can hear the engine from a mile away, and that's not a good thing. It's a bad thing. People think I put like an exhaust on it. That was just the engine being old, and I'll never forget. I was just at a point in my business where I really wanted to give up. I'm like, this is not going nowhere, and it sucks, and I have to go to my job, which, you know, I'm against people that hate jobs. I didn't hate my job. I liked my job. I just hated how much time consuming it was, and I really wanted to spend some time for me, for my family, for my friends, for the people around me, developing, doing better, bigger things in my life. And you know what happened? I heard a story at that point of a gentleman, I won't mention his name, but this gentleman stayed in business for 9 years straight, made no money. 10th year makes $3 million.
Yeah, you told me.
It was insane.
That's a crazy story.
And that's when I'm like, so imagine doing 9 years, no success. 10th year, $3 million. We're talking $3 million income. We're talking revenue.
Yeah, we're talking online sales, building sales
money.
teams, to be specific. Rakan Khalifa is a serial entrepreneur at this point. He got started in one industry and sort of branched out now into more traditional businesses, brick and mortar businesses. You guys would see, you know, restaurants and all sorts of stuff.
We need to have a tour. I think I should have a tour.
Like a vlog tour?
Yeah, a vlog
I
tour
love
at
that.
the restaurant.
That'd be,
I think
we
should.
should film. We
it's
should film it. We should film an episode there one time.
We will do.
Oh,
we will
100%.
do. Yeah, I'm down
100%.
because it's technically the biggest one of the biggest Arabic restaurants in Toronto.
Yeah.
It's not a small place, man.
Oh, it's
It fits 300 plus people.
I think that's a crazy idea.
That's a
We
really
go
good
film
idea.
as
I it's good.
So Rakan's story is he didn't tell you the whole thing, but you'll hear it eventually. It's some success after light, after dark, after light, after dark. It's a roller coaster ride, and it's trending upwards. Armin, let's hear your
let's hear
the legal story.
Legal story.
My story?
Let's hear your story first. How about that?
All right. So, thank you, Armin. It's a pleasure. My story, it's not extraordinary. I'm an immigrant family, came to Canada when I was 2, and so Armin likes to call me like a half immigrant. Yeah, I don't know. If that's
Canadian guy, brother.
Canadian guy,
Yeah.
white guy.
half immigrant. I was like born on the plane or something on the way here over the sea. It doesn't count, right? But anyways, you know, I came here. I was super young. Parents, you know, the typical 2 suitcases and a baby story. And, you know, they came here to, you know, for hopes of building a better life for me and for the future. And, you know, we came from Eastern Europe. We're doing well there, but there was not much of a future there. A lot of corruption. The economy wasn't doing so well. And long story short, you know, I'm growing up here. My parents are two of the hardest working people I know to this day. And I always saw, from a young age, I was very observant. I realized something, that the middle class and the poor class, we're working really hard, but can never really get ahead. And I always had those rich, wealthy friends that seemed like their parents just never worked hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were working smarter, and they knew things that we didn't know.
I agree.
And part of it was the fact that they were you know, they may be 2nd, 3rd, 4th generation immigrants, that they've been here and they've seen things and they built some wealth already. But part of it was also that it was something that they were working smarter and not harder. So me growing up knowing that, all right, maybe hard work is not the only answer. Maybe there's working hard in the right vehicle. And the epitome, so my turning point and why I got into, you know, online business and entrepreneurship was, and I come from an engineering background, like Rakan as well. But Rakan was in school for 20 minutes. I finished 4 years. I went to work in the engineering field. But 2 years into my engineering job, COVID, March 2020, I remember my own father lost his job, you know, as an electrician. And this guy, it was like a hero to me growing up. And when I seen him come home one day and the look in his eye that he was hopeless, helpless, and he looked at me and he didn't want to say it, but I can tell. He's like, I need help. And I'm looking at myself and thinking, I got to do something else. I got to do something different, because me doing this job, looking at him, I'm working for my company for 2 years. He's working for his for at least 10. He got let go like this. What can happen to me?
Yeah.
I'm an ID number. You know what I mean? I had to look for something else. And cliche, I'm looking around on the internet and I see somebody doing what Rakan's doing, and I get involved, and it was a trading and investing platform. And long story short, you know, I had some big success the first couple of months. Me and Rakan meet outside LA Fitness one day, and we kicked it off. I remember I saw Rakan at the same LA Fitness a couple of years before that with a lady at the time. He had some blonde hair, and I didn't know who he was, nothing. But he just I think you were in the business already. Yeah, but I didn't know who he was, and then call it a cliche. We meet at the parking lot outside that LA Fitness a couple of years later, and we just kicked it off.
But Vlad, here let me say something, bro. Many people don't finish their degrees, man. So you kind of killed that.
100%.
You're a certified engineer.
Certified, yeah.
And you're getting your PEng soon.
The goal is I'm speaking to an existence. The goal is to get my professional engineering license and then
just
retire at 26 years old.
Why do you want to get it though so bad?
I feel like, bro, you work so. Maybe sorry if I'm answering it, but I feel like if I finish school, it would be definitely a goal because, bro, it's all you work for. As an engineer, without your PEng, you're nothing. You're like a worker, bro. Like not a minimum wage, but you're not a real engineer unless you get your PEng.
Yeah. So let me explain what PEng is. So it's the highest designation of in the engineering career. You get your professional engineering license. You get a stamp that allows you to basically stamp real drawings, construction drawings, and you hold all the responsibility for that design. So it's the epitome of the engineering world. I've wanted it since I was 4 years old. So I got into this business, and I told myself in 2.5 years, I'm gonna get my stamp and I'm gonna get out of here. And I worked, make my parents proud. But at the same time, I looked at my mom and dad, and I'm the whole time I'm thinking I'm not going to retire you for a while, be an engineer, but I can do something different.
Yeah,
I can retire you a lot sooner in the online space.
You bought your first property at 25.
Yes. Yeah.
Or 24.
Turning 25.
Turning 25.
Pre-construction.
So 24, first pre-construction. Most people don't even buy their first house at 35, bro. Let alone doing it at 25.
Most people live with their parents at 35.
I mean,
I know some people like that.
But it wouldn't be possible. It wouldn't be possible with only a job.
Yeah.
I would not be possible.
I agree.
Yeah. We live in Toronto. I don't know if you guys, for any of you guys watching, Toronto's one of the most expensive cities in North America.
Yes, it's not cheap for sure. Armin, let's hear the legal.
You had some time to think about it.
Yeah.
I actually didn't think about it. I always go natural with the flow.
Natural.
Yeah, even the podcast.
Yeah.
So, I came to Canada when I was 15. My parents are Middle Eastern.
Turkish.
I came, alone to a homestay family. Lived with other individuals, roommates, and so on. Till I was about 20. When I was 20 years old. When I was working jobs and so on. I'm a guy who liked working out, right? So I always went to the gym and so on. One day in the gym, I met Rakan. So we trained. And I'm like, the same exact thing Vlad said. I said it to Rakan. I'm like, what is it that you do? Whatever it is, I want to do the same.
The Wolf of Wall Street scene.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
You show me a check right now. So I quit my job and I work for you.
I'm like, what is it exactly? So Rakan's like, bro, I'll show you after the training. And then after the training, he showed me a Forex account. And I'm like, I was sold. I'm like, done.
Yeah.
So.
But you had some struggles at that point. You weren't. Everything was not okay.
Nothing was okay. Family
nothing.
Situations.
Yeah,
work.
but you didn't even like at that point. I think did you come to the gym with a bicycle?
Yeah, bicycle. So here's what I did, right? Every morning, 6 a.m. I woke up. I went to the gym, Chris's gym in Markham. I biked there, and then I took TTC, like the transit system, to downtown. Did Uber Eats, right? Food delivery on the bike. And then at night, went back to the gym.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So that's basically
I've seen Armin grow up a lot in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
From that bicycle stuff.
Yeah.
This guy, a lot of people are depending on him now.
It's true.
You guys
with all the trading stuff.
You guys will see what's going on.
You've done some phenomenal things in trading, like big things, man. Proud of you, bro.
It's all because of you, brother. You already know this. You know what happens? Seriously, I've never told you this. Yeah. At night, I sit at home. Sometimes I just listen to music. Pet is there. He's with me. And then I just think, I'm like, what if I didn't go to that gym?
That's crazy, bro.
It's true.
And the reason I went to that gym was because I fought with my boss when we were selling carpets in other cities in Canada.
Yeah.
I fought with him. That's how I found Badr and them guys. That I moved into North York. If I didn't fight with him, I didn't move there.
Just life, man.
It's crazy.
Life,
Yeah.
life, and how life works.
Yeah, it's funny. The pandemic really, there was two groups of people that came from the pandemic.
Yeah,
People that
yeah,
really
yeah.
changed a lot for themselves. People that just stayed on the same path.
That's
And
a
I
really
think
good point.
you and I did something
100%.
very different with our lives after that turning point there.
100%.
You know.
Which is what it takes,
And
man. to have
and
success after dark.
Rakan's online business blew up in the pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, that's when he got his I would say his second stride of big momentum. In
My first $1 million.
first $1 million in the end of 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah,
End of 2020.
yeah,
My first $1 million.
yeah. Canadian dollars, U.S.
No,
dollars,
It was US dollars.
USD.
US dollars.
Nice.
So 1 point whatever Canadian.
Yeah,
So Rakan, brother.
and he has a good accountant too, so he keeps a lot of it.
Smart one, you know.
Smart one. The
Very
mics,
smart.
everything right off.
It's true.
Rakan Abi, your story, brother. Not the story you tell on calls to everyone.
No,
No. Give a different
Not the
version,
Zoom
bro.
story.
the real
Please.
one.
The
Yeah,
success
give
factor
it. Give
You,
a
you
good
guys
version.
can hear me well.
Yeah,
It's good?
100%.
Yeah.
Of course.
Where do I start?
In English.
So come in English, not
The
in
part you didn't start with others, bro.
So you know, when I came to Canada, man, it's been a journey, bro. You know, I come from not a broke family. I don't come from an average family. You know, I come with my father. My father was my hero, and because my father was my hero, and he was a very well-known, successful guy back home. You know, you have a challenge to fit in his feet, or just keep on what he has. And you know, my dad having this big company back home, you come to Canada and you're spoiled. You're making the money that you're making. You know, I was making like $5,000 a month with my dad's income, and you know, I it was insane because I just figured that this is gonna last. I don't care. I was in school. It didn't matter. He just wanted me to be an engineer, and just God didn't want that. God had different plans, man. And what happens after is second year some stuff happens. Typical stuff, business, right? It's not really up, and I kind of I called my dad, and I know when Vlad was talking about how I know how hard it is for a dad to tell you I need help.
100%.
Especially if you're his oldest son or eldest son. It's tough, man. It needs courage for you to go talk to him, be like, listen, like, I need help. It just takes a very different type of person to just do that. So I figured that I called my dad. I'm like, is everything okay? He's like, yeah, everything's okay. I figured everything is not okay. So I called my mom, and I'm like, is everything okay? She's like,
Tell him why. You noticed that the
the checks.
the checks started getting
the
smaller.
5
the
became
deposits were
4, the
It's
4
on a
became 3.
downtrend. Yeah.
The 3 became 2. I'm like, yo, this inflation is really hitting. The currency is really changing. So it wasn't really, just my dad was sending less and less money. And I'll just tell you, man, is everything happens for you, not to you.
100%.
And that happened for me. That absolutely changed my life. I became aware. I became not spoiled.
How old were you at the time?
I was 20. I was 19.
19.
So I got my first job at 19. I had to physically work with my hands.
First
Crazy.
job at 19.
First job at 19.
Spoiled.
Yeah, spoiled, man.
Yeah.
First job was 19, and I fell in love with making money by myself. Fell in love. I'm like, I want to do this forever.
Just so you know, guys, Rakan fell in love. Just remember that.
Yeah, with my job. It was a shisha bar job. I just fell in love with the shisha bars, man. I met a lot of people, just loved the environment.
And then what happened to the shisha bar, brother? Sorry. Before we close this, they need to know this.
And the shisha bar was owned by a drug dealer.
They busted
They
it.
busted the place, bro. And thank God I wasn't there. God had some mercy on me.
But you didn't snitch them out.
No, never snitching. And what happened is, on the same road that I had the job, there was a gym there. And eventually, it was a long story short, but I got hired at the gym because the guy was an Arabic guy. And I'm like, listen, I just need your help, man. I need a job. And then, comparing the shisha bar with the money the drug dealer was paying me to this legit company was paying me is day and night. And I'm like, is this the best you can pay me? He's like, bro, this is a real company. There's not a...
Should we go back to the...
I'm like, can I go back to the shisha bar? Can I get paid the same money? He's like, no. And I'll be honest with you, I had to just do what I had to do. And that was my first introduction to sales. Because he's like, the only way you can make more money is by selling memberships.
100%.
And I started, I'm like, okay, well, how do we sell? I don't know about sales. And I've always had these negative beliefs about sales. You know, you hear these negative stuff about salespeople all the time, that they're whatever. You know what I mean? And thank God I've had some good people around in my life that tell me, Rakan, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. I've made some stupid decisions in my life where I've been corrected or I've been humbled, but sales has changed my life. You know, I started selling and I started taking sales as a way of life. And at one point, the guy that changed my life one time, he saw me do something very stupid with money, right? And I'll never forget this day. He was 32, 33, and I was like 20 or 21. And he opens his trading account. There's over $1 million in there. This guy is a manager at a gym. How the hell did he make over $1 million? I don't know. But he just understood the law of compounding, the law of investing. And he was like, Rakan, as long as you're spending the same stupid way you're investing, I'll be 10 times richer than you forever. Right? So I took it personally as a challenge to make $1 million before the age of 30, investing. And I started making real money in the gym, selling memberships. And what happened is, the stock market was a little bit slow for me. So I took a little bit of an interesting route, which is, the foreign exchange market, the currency trading market, and then the cryptocurrency market. And 5 years in, well, actually 4.5, make my first $1 million. Send him a screenshot.
First of many. First of many.
First of many, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. That was not my last million. I've made a couple after that, but I just believe that money at this point, how I understand it, money is a game. Yeah. And once I 100%. Understand the game and know how to play the game, and that's kind of what I've been able to teach people. And I just think any business in the world, you the more value you give out in the universe, the more money you'll make. So we're making this podcast for value. We're
Absolutely.
making a podcast for people to watch and being able to get inspired and to kind of take a different route for themselves. Whatever it is, you can start a small business online, you can start a small business offline, whatever you can do to hustle and make extra money, do that.
Yeah. I think it's a perfect storm for online business right now. I want to touch on a couple points. Rakan talked, we talked a little bit from how we went from engineering into the sales world. And, no one, it's funny, there's stigma on sales. Nobody's parents wants them to become a salesperson.
True, it's not a flash.
But it's the highest.
It's not a doctor.
It's not a doctor or engineer, but it's the highest paying damn skill
profession.
in the
Absolutely.
world.
Absolutely.
And it's the most important skill in the world,
Yeah.
to know how to sell. You sell everything. You sell yourself to everybody every single day. Your ideas, your concepts. It's everything.
I'll never forget, Vlad. Sorry, I'll never forget. I've seen one of the guys. He's in the Middle East, right? And he said a valid point. He's like, as a good salesman, you will never, ever not have a job.
Absolutely. 100%.
And that blew my mind. He is so right. If you are a good salesperson, you can sell anything in the world.
Absolutely.
Like anything. And you can make money out of it. If you're persuasive, if you're able to work on your, selling skill sets, if you're able to, influence people, right? For the good things, hopefully. You can change the world with some words.
Absolutely.
We were talking about this too, that you remember, because we saw some good companies that you were trying to get into have really good products, but they did not have sales.
Exactly.
And you
there's some, I'm telling you, on the market, bro, there's some companies that are like 10 times focused on the product and not focused on selling the product. Yeah. You guys gotta understand Apple, one of the biggest companies in the world today. Steve Jobs was a good guy that sold the dream of Apple. He was a salesperson. He said when he was showing the Apple behind him, the Apple phone or whatever, he said, "Look how beautiful it is." The word "beautiful" you don't call it on a phone. He's talking about his art. He's talking Apple like an art. And then the other department, I guess, Steve Wozniak and all these guys were working on the technology and all these things. But he looked at Apple like an art, and he sold the vision of Apple like it's an art, and that's what it is. Unfortunately, there's a lot of not good companies that just have good salespeople, and they have millions in sales.
There's a saying that goes, and I know you guys won't agree with this saying, is a good product sells itself, and I don't believe that, because you have a product like an Android, which is a good product, but it has the worst market. No, I'd say the worst marketing. I would say Apple's marketing destroys
Yeah,
Samsung.
Apple's not going to destroy, absolutely.
And we know this.
Yeah.
And we had the story, but I think you told me the story about it was a senior executive at Apple who was in the back seat with somebody who had one of those Zunes, like a Samsung, an
Samsung.
Android iPad, and he was telling the the exec.
It was Simon Sinek.
Simon Sinek. Oh, it's this iPad's this Zune is so much better than your iPad. And what the Apple execs say? Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I bet it is.
He knows.
He just didn't even argue, man.
They're not competing with other people.
He did it backwards, though. Yeah. He did it to the Samsung guys, or it wasn't Samsung, it was Microsoft guys. He did it to the Microsoft guys. And the Microsoft executive, he spent 30 minutes convincing Simon Sinek that, no, this is better than the Apple iPad.
Absolutely.
And he just... Simon Sinek saw both parties, and he saw that, like,
they don't have the market.
They just don't understand. They don't understand that Microsoft and Samsung were running after Apple, chasing Apple, while Apple was just chasing the better version of itself.
Yeah, it's you versus you.
I'm sure there's some Android people listening to us. They're like,
you
don't know nothing.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for the Android people. Sorry. But let's talk about where we see this podcast.
Yeah,
in
1 year and 5 years.
1 year, 5 years.
Yeah.
Go.
I'll go first. So I want to before I mention that, I want to talk about how we went from engineering to sales because we saw the potential in sales.
Yeah.
And the best salesman will service more people and make more money than the best engineer.
I agree.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the leverage that you can get in sales is unprecedented compared to engineering. We're sitting as an engineer, you're sitting in an office. You only have so many clients that you can actually service.
Yeah.
In online sales, the world is at your fingertips. And like Rakan said, the more value you give out in the marketplace, the more you get in return. Your income is proportional to the value you give out, and it's so true. Now, where I see this podcast in 1 year. We're going to be talking about various topics. Me and Armin will be back here, but Rakan's going to be the main host. We're going to, talk about everything from finances, money, personal fitness, personal development, business, sales, marketing, trading, investing, relationships.
Yeah. And we're going to have some successful people on the podcast. We have some
women,
connections.
Men, yes.
Yeah. So some of them will be online, some of them will be offline, but we're just going to have such a good... We're gonna have such a good mix of females, males, they're just killing it, man. And I just can't wait to there's some big people that we want to bring eventually, but 100%. We want you guys our help to have the podcast.
Me and Rakan already have a list.
Yeah,
season 1, 2, 3, 4.
Absolutely.
So some big names up there.
Yeah, big names.
Where do you see them in 5 years?
5 years? Who do I think is gonna be on the podcast in 5 years?
No, where do you see the podcast?
Trump.
In 5 years? Yeah, I wouldn't listen.
I would love to have Trump on here.
That would be amazing.
Love to have Trump on here.
For me, it's
Brother, Trump
I have some
against
questions.
Muslim guys this time.
I have some questions for him, bro. Doesn't matter if I support
he
him.
has some questions for you too.
I have some questions. Trump, how did you do it, man?
Yeah.
Listen, bro, nobody can deny what he's done. He is a businessman.
He took 10 million to a billion?
He 10 million to a billion, bro. I know some people back home that took 100 million to zero. minus
blown account.
Yeah. So I just listen, man. He's not a perfect guy, but I just know what he's done. Second to none.
Who's the second favorite guest?
Patrick Bet-David.
Patrick Bet-David.
Absolutely.
You guys love that guy.
I love that guy, man.
No, he's
he just, he's from the same industry.
Solid guy.
He saw us what's possible. He showed us what's possible. So
he's similar path to Rakan. Middle Eastern born. Went through some stuff. Got into the same industry. Got into sales.
Yeah.
Got into networking and I think Rakan's gonna eventually keep following.
I have a head start on him.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, because he started in his 30s.
Yeah,
I started early 20s. I have a decade on him, brother.
Yeah,
he's older than 30.
He's in 40s now.
43.
Yeah,
But I'm talking started his business.
30.
Yeah, in his 30s.
He started his own sales agency in his 30s. Yeah. Armin, what about you? 1 year, 5 years. What's up?
In a year, I honestly see having different segments. I see having a lot of guests, rather it's online or offline.
Yeah.
In a year, I think we'll have a solid schedule in regards to what's happening. It'll be more than just the podcast.
I agree.
I think we should have vlogs behind
We
the
will
scenes.
have vlogs behind the scenes. I agree.
Behind
Yeah,
the
yeah,
scenes,
yeah.
vlogs.
Climbing more walls.
A lot of segments.
Yeah.
And yeah, 5 years.
We sitting down in Rakan's mansion, next to my mansion, next to Vlad's mansion.
I'm down, man.
Next to your helicopter.
With those lions at the door.
But and speaking of the segments, I just think there's so many segments we can have.
yeah.
We can have a trading segment.
What do you guys think we should have? What do they think?
Yeah, I mean, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments what topics you guys would love us to talk about. But I just know that there's so many topics that we can talk
So
about.
many.
We have. You guys realize the things we teach for free
Yeah.
are people pay thousands of dollars
We
for.
actually teach a lot of things.
A lot.
Yeah.
Like, I had a businessman. He's not in our industry. He's in the medical industry, right? So he does training for his teams, and he jumped on one of our calls, and he's like, "Damn, you guys teach this for free?" I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" He's like, "Man, they pay me to do this." I'm like, "Brother," and he looked at our, one of the YouTubes that we have, and he was just shocked, man. He's like, "How are you guys so young doing this?" And I just told him that, listen, man, we have some big goals and big visions, and I just believe that we're gonna have certain things that are just big, man. So that this podcast is just a start for all of
100%.
that.
Rakan's 26 years old, but he's done more in 26 years than I know most people have done in a lifetime.
Yeah.
I think Armin, you can agree with
100%.
me.
Appreciate it, man.
And Armin is 23 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 26, but I'm born a year before Rakan, and we're just getting started, man. I don't know if this podcast will show how close we actually got. Us
Yeah.
three in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But we like laugh all the freaking time
We laugh a lot,
about
yeah.
some crazy shit, like the stories that we tell that are not safe for for Apple and Spotify.
Rakan is looking at Vlad like, what is he gonna talk
We're
about?
gonna talk about a lot of stuff,
We
We
will
might be
talk
we
about
might have to edit some things,
Yeah.
but we'll talk about
No need.
Eight is
Raw, man.
raw.
Raw.
Are you sure?
I'm 100%.
Okay, so let's get to the.
So let's talk about women. Nah. But we will have a lot of opinionated.
Controversial topics.
Yeah, opinionated stuff.
Yeah, Rakan's gonna get some messages, Telegram messages, Instagram DMs.
Yeah. I'll
Is
show
it
you.
true? Is it true?
I'll show y'all what's up. It's cool.
Yeah.
Man, come on.
Nothing to hide.
Brother, are you
Nothing
sure?
to hide, brother. Nothing to hide, brother.
Okay, no problem.
Nothing to hide. We'll talk about,
YouTube, Vlad?
girlfriends, boyfriends,
Absolutely.
money.
Listen,
Well, how money changes.
relationships. How money changes?
How many changes
Yes,
people.
I asked Rakan this question today. How did
Some
women your relationship with women change with money?
Of course
And
it
it
changed.
changes big time.
Absolutely.
Big time.
Absolutely it changes the money. And any guy that says
Yeah.
no.
And we'll talk about
he's
that on
not-
another episode.
Yeah, but any guy that says no, it doesn't change. He's delusional. He's never made real money.
But do you think it's good to have, like,
Let's say we have two scenarios, right?
the first guy had no money,
And then he started earning money. Now he's becoming wealthy and so
Mm-hmm.
on. Or a guy that had money and then lost everything and is trying to build back. Which one is harder, do you guys think?
Say it again.
Which one's harder? Is from the ground up.
from the ground up?
Before,
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
look, I just believe money is a temperature. So when money is a temperature, any person right now that wants to earn money has a specific temperature. So I know I have a specific temperature, right? I can speak, I can heat, and the only way you can heat, and I'll talk about there's many ways to heat that up, the temperature, but it's like a room. Like right now we're sitting in a room. There's a temperature there, right there. So when the temperature is right there, I know that no matter what's happening here, all the ACs can happen. It can be colder outside. This will adjust the room temperature. So same thing with money. People will be adjusted to their room temperature about money. Now, how would you increase that? You increase that by learning more. You increase that by surrounding yourself with the right people. You increase that with you being able to challenge yourself. There's a lot of things that you have to do for you to be, to be able to, because it's a ceiling. You have to break the ceiling. So for me, I told people the first 100K is the hardest, and then the first million is the hardest. Now you're breaking the ceiling. Once you make a first million and a second million, okay, this is a game. I gotta just do more value. I gotta help more people. Help more people get to what they want, and I'll get whatever I want. Get a million, get a second million, get a third million. Oh, what do people want? They want to have fun. Let's do this. They want to have this. And that's how the money game is. So absolutely, I truly believe that starting from ground up, you have a very low ceiling that you have to break, which I believe is harder than breaking a higher ceiling already. If you have money already, if you tasted money already, you've seen it, it's very easy for you to bring it back.
You've probably already gotten the skill. You've acquired the skills from the first time you got
Exactly.
money. You know, we say this all the time. You can drop Rakan. You can take all his money. You can take all his credit cards. You can take all his crypto. You can take his phones.
Yeah.
And you can drop him in the jungle, in a random island. I guarantee you, in less than a year, he'll figure it out, and he'll figure it out nice.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Better than this time.
Yeah. Absolutely. You can't take his skills. You can't take away what he knows.
It's true.
And same for you. Same for you.
That's
You know?
crazy.
Say you know you've learned a lot of we all learned so much in the last couple of years. It's the right information will change any situation, man.
The right information, which is situation.
Anything you want to say before it wraps up? You want to do, Armin had a giveaway idea, you know? Or is
Giveaway
Rakan gonna
idea.
get
Maybe
it?
not as big as the last one, please.
So the first time
I mean, I
we
said,
announced giveaways, and then after the podcast, after the mic stuff happened, Rakan was like, Armin, what the fuck are you doing, bro? What are you doing, bro?
10?
I'm just investing everything to... Bro, we can't do this, Armin. But here's what we do.
Anybody size 10 men's? No? Like spiky
Here's
shoes?
what we do, bro. We give subscriber giveaways.
okay,
They have to subscribe,
okay,
I like
leave a comment.
okay,
We choose it on the podcast live.
okay.
Okay, so everybody sees, right?
Yeah.
We put it in the raffle that goes through. We give 2 individuals $250 each,
Use Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, in
Yeah.
Bitcoin, just so they have Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then we give the remaining 8 individuals GC merch.
Done. Let's do it.
It's already done.
But full merch, brother. T-shirt.
See,
You know,
he
sweater.
didn't say done that fast. He'll think Rakan's favorite line. We'll think about it.
Because here's what happens. Rakan
We'll
orders
discuss
merch.
it.
I take 10 T-shirts right off the bat.
Rakan will think about it. Rakan's been thinking about things for years.
But we'll have it on description so
Rich-
you guys can look.
Rich, not stupid.
I'm rich but not stupid.
I'm rich
Rich
but
but
not
not
stupid.
stupid. Perfect.
Okay, so we'll have that. So make sure you guys are subscribing. Make sure you guys are following the instructions.
We're gonna have our Instagrams
So
posted at the bottom
subscribe.
of this video.
Yeah, absolutely.
If
so
you follow us and you get 5 accounts that follow you back, don't send them Bitcoin. They're not going to triple it in a weekend. If you do, let us know what happens. Maybe we can use
Maybe
we can
you should
use some.
invest too.
Yeah.
We can use
We're all we can all, all of us want to make more money, improve our systems too.
absolutely.
But yeah,
Cool. Well, with that being said, my friends, always a pleasure.
Is that the first podcast?
That would be.
What else do they talk about?
What?
What else should we talk about?
we'll talk about it
as of the
next
first
episode.
podcast?
I think that was.
that's
I
it.
think this is what we do.
I think that's it.
I think we did good. Maybe you'll keep.
Yeah, Armin wants to chit chat, eh?
Armin will say more of his real story every episode. Maybe.
Yeah. We open
Slowly,
up every
yeah.
episode.
yeah. Open it. You got 25% today.
Okay.
It's
You
a good
get the
start.
rest.
Yeah.
With that being said, my friends, my family, make sure you are entering the raffle. Make sure you are dropping the comments and doing the subscribes. Make sure you send this to somebody that wants to follow us. It's going to be an interesting journey, and I want you guys to follow us. This is the first episode for many. With that being said, my friends.
Can I just say one thing before we finish? I'm so sorry. I think we should bring on some subscribers on the show as a guest.
I'm down.
Yeah.
That was a
actually
good
down.
idea to
That
cut,
was a
right?
good idea. That was a good idea. So I think, well, I mean, I'm down. I'm down to do that. I actually like that. I actually like that. Cool. So,
Great idea, Rakan.
my friends, my family, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.